Revelation 18:6. Reward her even as she has rewarded you, and double unto her according to her works. In the cup which she hath filled, fill to her double. Call halal Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai Bahasham Rakaha Kodash. Double honors unto the apostles, double honors unto the elder bishops. Salutations to all my fellow laborers doing this work in truth and sincerity, risking their lives and their freedom to do so now more so than ever. To the scattered elect that are scattered around the four corners of the earth, that be like unto the speckled bird, the Israelite foreigners among the heathen that look like those heathen, the Israelite foreigners, and to the few Akwaf that are listening and learning, to you I say Shalom. This is your brother Malcolm from the branch of the Great Millstone here in Chicago, coming at you another lesson in truth. And then we're profiling Akwaf right here, Bianca, and she's an Ephraimite, and I'm gonna just play. And she does shorts, little informational shorts, and a lot can be said in a very short period of time. And she said a lot, but I want to go particularly to this video. And before I play it, I want to read another scripture. Let's go back to Revelation. Yeah, this is Revelation 11:18, and it reads, "And the nations were angry, and thy wrath is come, and the time of the dead that they should be judged, that thou shouldst give reward unto thy servants, the prophets, the men of the Lord who are doing this work, and to the saints," though the same thing, the Israelites are the saints, "and to them that fear the name," those of us who are calling on the name of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, all right, "small and great, and shouldest destroy them which destroy the earth." And the people that are destroying the earth, putting toxic chemicals in food, toxic chemicals in water, toxic chemicals in clothing, toxic chemicals in the form of medicine. We all know that that's the Edomites. That's Esau Edom, the so-called white man. So let's just take a look at how they turn the pretty clear blue waters of Puerto Rico into the brown, dirty waters that like the Hudson River or like the Chicago River.
This is still happening in Puerto Rico. All this sedimentation going into what's supposed to be crystal clear blue water in Aguadilla. These were the images that went viral a year ago, but the video you just saw is from a week ago. And what's happening above that water is this construction. That's where they want to build more than 80 townhouses overlooking the ocean. But last year, the EPA said this project was violating the Clean Water Act because they were polluting the Atlantic Ocean. Well, the EPA just went back a few months ago and they did this report. And over again in this report, they talk about how there were no controls implemented to keep that pollution from going into the ocean. As you might remember, the developer of that project is the same one that already got in trouble for illegally building on top of this cave in Aguadilla. That has been the setting of several protests, including the one where a protester got shot in the leg. A security guard is accused of shooting him. This is
And that's the MO of Esau Edom, the so-called white man. All right. He comes and goes into these other people's lands. Okay. And he especially after destruction, and often he causes a destruction. You know, that whole thing in Maui now just happened, I think, in was it in Argentina or Chile? It looked mysteriously the same. The burnt out cars, everything that was blue or red was untouched. Yeah, and there's no mainstream media coverage on that either. Okay, but this is what they do. As a matter of fact, let me read a few receipts. Because you'll often hear these Edomites, say how their parents came here from another land and they they worked hard and pulled themselves up by the bootstrap and all that mess, which is all a lie, man. They were millions of acres of land, hundreds of millions of acres of land were given away free to Europeans, so-called Europeans, white people, here in America in the 1800s and the early 1900s. All right? And they were, and they even paid for schooling to teach them how to farm and take care of the land. All right? And I'm going to read some of the receipts to prove this. the evidence. All right. Let me just locate it real quick. Hope I didn't. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, I'll read these real quick. The Southern Homestead Act of 1866 was signed on June 21st, 1866. In teaching about any of the Homestead Acts, so it was acts, it was many of them. So this was done many a times for so-called white people. This is how they got so much generational wealth and property, so far above everyone else, especially so-called black people. All right. It is important to include how the land was stolen from the Native Americans, my people. All right, who many of them were reclassified as Negroes. All right, to prevent them from getting any of their land rights or any of the grants and schooling, free college and all the different things that came along when they tried to call themselves giving them some sort of reparations. The majority of the natives that are enjoying the monies that come in from the casinos and things like that, those are those Dawes Roll Edomites. Those are Edomites that paid $5, which was the equivalent of $150, and in the early 1800s. All right, they put these white people on this roll, and I'm gonna read that, and they were able to get a hold of all this land. All right, but it says the act opened. Oh, look at this. Listen to this. The act opened 46 million acres of federal land in Alabama, Arkansas, Florida, Louisiana, and Mississippi. It also happened in Montana and places like that. You know how popular Yellowstone was? Well, how you think that 1883? Yeah. And they were able to pass and get all these ranches and all this land in Colorado and all that. How you think they got that land? They raped, robbed, murdered, and stole for it. Stole to get it. Oppressed to get it. And then when they get the land, this is what they do. All right. And they hate it when someone stands up to speak and point out their wickedness. All right. And now, yeah, that was July 21st, 1866, the Southern Homestead Act. Well, let me read these real quick before I play this video. It says, paying to play Indian, the Dawes Rolls, and the legacy of $5 Indians. See, and now this, even with this history known, they should renege these people's status. Because guess what? They have this on record. So it's no more excuses. Everyone that did this on record, everything that they got free from the government, they should be forced to give it back. Land, money, grants, whatever it is. They should take it all back from them and actually give it to the real Gadites and Reubenites. But I guess it's hard to do that since so many of them you didn't already reclassify because they went in and changed their birth certificates and the information on them and reclassified them as Negro. Census enumerators did this, and everything that I'm saying you can look up from research for yourself. All right, it says paying a commission of $5 could get you on an opportunistic white person, Edomite, on the Dawes Roll 125 years ago, which still causes problems for tribes today. You damn right it does. It may be because then you got, people that know their heritage can prove their lineage, but they won't allow them to be a part of this. Because Edomites sit on the councils and are in control of who gets to say that they're native and who's not. All right, completely trying to prevent certain people that they've labeled Negroes as claiming their native heritage, even though they know that they are, and they can even prove it in a lot of cases. Okay, but it says, it may be fashionable to play Indian now, but it was also trendy 125 years ago when people paid $5 a piece for falsified documents declaring them native on the Dawes Rolls. All right. It says these so-called $5 Indians paid the government agents under the table in order to reap benefits that came with having Indian blood. All right. And they came up with their blood cartridge because isn't there something? They say if you got if you as a so-called white person, if you had 1 ounce of Negro blood, then you're not white anymore. So, and they call the natives tree niggas and savages. All right, many of them. So now you got their blood, now you good. This is All right, and then in 1882, in Virginia, the Negro and the Native were classified the same people because guess what? They are. They came from the same place in the East. All right. It says, so these $5 Indians paid government agents under the table in order to reap the benefits that came from having Indian blood. Many white men were with an appetite for land. $5 Indians paid to register on the Dawes rolls, earning fraudulent enrollment in tribes along with benefits of inherited generations. All right. And this was information that I got from Elder Taj from the main camp in Connecticut there, from the Connecticut elder bishops. All right, but it says a pamphlet, Montana Free Homestead Land, published by the Great Northern Railway in 1914. So it happened in the North too. All right, courtesy of the Montana Historical Research Center by Big Sky County Digital Network, and we looked it up, and it's all women on that staff. And we keep telling you that Job 27 and 15, the majority of the information that is condemning Edom today is coming from his own women. His women are turning against him. All right? You know, they're openly going, hell, you even had a Rockefeller getting BBC. All right? So these people have a lot to pay for, man. A lot to pay for. So let's play this next short from Bianca.
Last week, a well-known Puerto Rican activist said someone shot at his
Hold
house.
on, let me see if I can turn this sound up.
Bullet casings, and that several bullets have been shot at a fence and at a car.
Salakia.
At the time, Molina was
How do I? Let me see. Let me go back one.
last week, a well-known Puerto Rican activist.
One more.
Movie in 2014. Since then, the series has evolved into a
Last week, a
No, it's just recorded low.
Last
Okay.
week, a well-known Puerto Rican activist said someone shot at his house. When police got there, they found 7 bullet casings, and that several bullets had been shot at a fence and at a car. At the time, Eliezer Molina was in that house with his wife and his 2 kids. And he took to social media to show some of the evidence. Eliezer is well known for bringing attention to environmental cases like this one in Rincon, where they wanted to build a pool on the beach. And it turned out that the permit they got to do that was illegal. He also brought attention to this case where they built on top of a cave, and once again it turned out to be illegal. Eliezer Molina led a protest in this case where
And when it says they, she's talking about all the widows down there, all the gringos, the white people, the Edomites. All right. I know a chick, a Amalekite, okay, who you know, on her new husband now. You know how they get down. Is in banking, and they went there and opened up, you know, a bank or something like that, and a gym. Okay. So they all went down there to buy up property dirt cheap and exploit the people. That's what Esau Edom does.
protester ended up getting shot. Private security guard is now facing charges for shooting the protester. And Eliezer himself said in 2021 that he was getting death threats. He's now running for the Senate in Puerto Rico as an independent candidate, and he says these threats are a result of him challenging very powerful people in Puerto Rico. Last week, a well-known
Well, you know, that's what happens when you stand up against wickedness.
At a fence and at a car. At the time, Eliezer Molina was in that house with his wife and his 2 kids.
So
and he took to social media to show some of the
somehow,
evidence.
I don't know what happened there.
Attention to environmental cases like this one in Rincon, where they wanted to build a pool on the beach.
So
and it turned out
Salakia,
that the permit they got to do
let
that
me
was
kill the
illegal.
sound on
Brought
that.
attention to this case where they built on top of a cave, and once again it turned out to be illegal. Eliezer Molina led a protest and
Salakia couldn't get the video to stop. All right. So now I'm gonna play this next video, but before I play that, I'm gonna read in Micah. I clicked off of it and it just kept playing. It's crazy. Because this video is about Double Down News, and it's called Israel Exposed. All right, you can see the title of the video at the bottom of the screen. All right, let me get that into focus, Salakia. Okay, But Esau, Edom, they rape, rob, steal, and just take everything. Which brings us to Micah. So let's go to Micah. And it reads, Micah 2:1, and they covet fields, and they take them by violence. So this guy's been getting death threats. One of the protesters got shot. It says they covet fields and take them by violence, and houses and take them away, so that they oppress a man in his house, even a man in his heritage. All right. Therefore, thus saith Yahweh, behold, against this family do I devise an evil, from which ye shall not remove your necks, neither shall ye go haughtily, for the time is evil. So a lot of evil is actually happening to Edomites already, man. I just watched a Edomite get beat down by a older Edomite. I couldn't tell if it was a man or a woman. It almost looks like a woman. Get beat down and kicked in the face unconscious by a Edomite male, much younger. And I wonder what the backstory is. And another Edomite woman, older woman, was trying to stop him, and an Asian woman, he just overpowered them, and he was pouring some sort of liquid all over this person when they fell on the floor. And he told the other lady she better get back, and then he lit her on fire and burned her to death after knocking her unconscious. And I'm like, and this is all caught on camera, and I'm like, where is this? This should be on the media all day long, every broadcast on every network, but because it's a white male. But guess what? They'll find some snatch and grabs, some orchestrated, choreographed snatch and grabs with the cameras ready to catch some niggas, stealing some stuff out of a store, and they'll blast it over TV 24/7. But this violent crime that was committed by this white male, nowhere to be seen. All right, but let's play this one. Second. Oh, forgot I turned the sound down.
This is real life Hunger Games. This is
the other
life
one's still
Squid
playing.
Game. This is a real life Black Mirror episode, but unfortunately, it's people's lives that are at stake. It's not just a TV show. It's not just a movie. You can't turn it off. It's not a fiction. It's real life. The ratio of killing in Gaza, Israel is targeting everybody in Gaza. Nobody is safe. This is real life Hunger Games. This is a real life Squid Game. This is a real life Black Mirror episode. But unfortunately, it's people's lives that are at stake. It's not just a TV show. It's not just a movie. You can't turn it off. It's not a fiction. It's real life. The ratio of killing in Gaza of civilians is significantly higher than the average civilian toll in all conflicts around the world during the 20th century. So what we're seeing in Gaza is unprecedented killing at unprecedented rates, using unprecedented technology. We know that Israel is relying on AI technology to identify more targets than they've ever been able to identify in a shorter amount of time, which is what explains the scope of the destruction and devastation and the killing that we have seen in Gaza. An investigation was published by 972 magazine entitled A Mass Assassination Factory. And that investigation relied on the testimonies of current and former Israeli intelligence officials who were quoted as confirming that Israel intentionally targets Palestinian family homes and apartment buildings in its airstrikes, and that this is not an accident. Our families are not collateral damage. Rather, they are the targets of Israel's attack on purpose. Israel refers to those targets as power targets. And this is an intentional policy that is designed to create as much carnage as possible, to create as much despair and devastation as possible. In the words of the Israeli intelligence officers describing this practice, it's intended to put pressure on Hamas by putting pressure on the entire civilian population. This practice meets the definition of terrorism. Terrorism is specifically unlawful targeting of civilians using violence for a political purpose. But of course, this is...
Oh, well, sorry we killed the babies. Well, this is also an Holocaust that they're committing. All right? Let's show you some receipts.
I didn't know the definition. Where are the Holocaust deniers? That I didn't know the definition of Holocaust. I thought it was kind of the name of a very specific event. But check this out. It has a definition, and definition number 1 is destruction or slaughter on a mass scale, especially caused by fire or nuclear war. So what is happening, what Israel is doing to the people in Gaza, is definitely destruction and slaughter, and it's on a mass scale, and it is caused by fire. You understand me? So technically Israel is perpetrating a Holocaust against the people in Gaza. And I think now that we know the definition of Holocaust, we should start referring to this as such, okay? This is the Gazan Holocaust. This is the Israeli Holocaust against the Palestinian people. And if you disagree with my use of that term, then you are a Holocaust denier. Because the definition is it's right here. It's easy to understand. This is from Oxford Languages. This is a trustworthy source. So if you don't think what is happening, what Israel is doing to the people in Palestine is a Holocaust, then you're a Holocaust denier, okay? End of story. God bless you, and let's all pray that Israel ends its violent Holocaust against the Palestinian people, because I would like the Palestinian people, they shouldn't have to be experiencing this Holocaust that they are most certainly experiencing. So let's pray for the people of Palestine, and let's pray that this Holocaust ends. God bless you guys. Have a great... Where are the Holocaust deniers?
Okay, so
know the definition.
let's get a scripture and get ready to wrap this up. Because Esau truly is being made bare. All right? And then I watched another video where the girl was saying how she, these women, see if it pops up. Yeah, you see it at the top, I hate white men. And, the guy's trying to argue back and forth with her. And, these girls are really stupid. But a lot of things she said. The name of the video is Liberal Escort. I guess she's an escort. Says white people deserve oppression and discrimination. Well, they got to get more than that. Because that's how they ruled. And they lied and covered up history and falsified history. They did so many wicked things. And then he tried to give that same narrative about black people that, the Africans so are the Africans, which is a complete and fabrication. The so-called the dark people that got sold into slavery, that got brought on the ships that were owned by Aaron Levi, the Abigail, and his partners, these Jewish guys that owned all these slave ships. All right, those black people that got brought here, all right, they were not Africans. They were refugees and Africans. They were implants. They came from the land of Israel. And that's evidence of that. In the Bible and in relics and in many writings. Okay? So to continue to push that false narrative, and then as if that would make an excuse. Well, they were being sold by their own people, so that gave us the right to rape, rob, murder them, and abuse them as we will. Is basically what he's saying. As we felt. All right? Trying to deny what they've done and get out of the judgment that they have coming. But this is Ezekiel 35 and 35. And it reads, and this is a prophecy against Edom, against Mount Seir. Okay? If you read up, Mount Seir is the homeland, the original caves that the so-called white man came from, in Petra. But it says, because thou hast had a, verse 30, Ezekiel 35 and 5, because thou hast had a perpetual hatred and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword in the time of their calamity, in the time that their iniquity was at an end. Therefore, as I live, saith the Lord power, I will prepare thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee. Since thou hast not hated blood, even blood shall pursue thee. So the Edomite entire race is about to bleed a lot of blood. And it's coming, and this is a punishment that's promised to them from on high, and their time is almost up. Call halal Yahweh Ba'Hashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'Hashem, B'Kakwadash, Kwam Yasharala Shalom.